Welcome back to part three of the new Ottoman Empire. So, after their African conquest, something happens. Hey, Israel, want a ton of money? Sure. All right, then give me some nukes. Fine. You're not gonna do anything terrible with these, are you? No, I sure won't. No, that's a guarantee. That's a guarantee, he said. Anyway, so yeah, they basically nuke all of the Balkans, and yes, this was just an easy way of them getting it, because I'm lazy and I don't want to draw another war. Also, it just kind of makes sense for them to be allies with Israel, so like screw it, I took the chance. Um, so yeah, now all of the Balkans are pretty much just all kind of united under the Ottoman Empire. So and they annex all of it because of course they freaking annexed it. What did you think they were gonna do? Not do that? Anyways, so yeah, they take over all of the Balkans. And yeah, Ottoman Empire just scored themselves lots of territory. Britain is kind of getting mad at them, but they sign a non-aggression pact and they continue lots of trade. So now they've somewhat become allies, but Britain doesn't really care that much for them. Consider the reason why this happened was because they once again took the Suez Canal. Also, by the way, hey Russia, look out! Using all their nukes previously, there is they don't really have any nukes left to keep fighting Russia. So yeah, so let's just get a little color out here. Screw it, just good enough. Anyways, so yeah, now they're going to start their campaign into Russia. So right over here, let's get the red, and here's the surprise invasion of Russia from the south. And they also marched some troops through Ukraine so they could reach Russia, and they send in this mind-boggling amount. Finland, also wanting to get back at Russia, joins the Ottoman Empire, and they're starting to push back heavily into Russian territory. They then decide to pull a strategy from a certain historical figure, which I cannot say. I could, but no. And they pull in a mind-boggling encirclement, which takes out a good amount of the country and also Moscow. They also take out Saint Petersburg, and Russia is kind of getting screwed because of this surprise invasion. Russia is able to converge their troops, and they're able to send a push through the Ottomans' captured territory, and Moscow and Saint Petersburg are liberated. So this whole thing, it's kind of going brutally. But the Ottomans have a bit of a plan for that. They decide to mar- they decide to march their armies through all the way through Asia until they reach Kazakhstan. They will then sneak through Mongolia and around, and they will get all of this area and kind of crush Russia from both sides. So they start doing that. Af- After about a year of fighting, after about a few months of fighting, they make it over here and they start their push into Siberia. Although something happens, something that everyone knows he shouldn't do. Invade Russia in the winter. It didn't go well for them in World War One. Do you think it'll go well for them this time? Really? No. Really? All right. Considering that they're in freaking Siberia of all places, they are easily pushed back, and it's also the winter. And basically every Ottoman is wiped out. So yeah, this whole defense thing kind of just screwed them over. But the Ottomans are still making progress as Russia kind of had to get some troops over there. But this whole thing is still not really going the best for the Ottomans. Russia is able to push the Ottoman armies out of Russia, and they kind of just keep pushing up into the Finnish armies. Um, the Finnish surrender, and Russia gets all their territories back. Yes, I know this looks like a mess. I do not care. Anyways, so then they're considering that they're pretty freaking mad at the Ottomans. The Ottomans thought they would surrender, but actually they keep invading, and they got Uno reversed, and this was a big surprise for them. The Ottoman instantly set up a front line and start pushing back as much as they can. Israel decides to stay neutral. They push back, and they're kind of just stuck here. The Russians march their troops through Belarus and Poland and Slovakia, so they can reach the Balkan countries. They then start They then start their push to liberate the Balkans. Um, so if I can get the color for God's sake, they then start their honorable push to liberate the Balkans, and maybe heck, why not reunite them into Yugoslavia? Cause screw it, I like Yugoslavia. They then take over this island, and the Ottoman Empire decides to keep going because they were able to just have some mild success over here, and they were able to push back into Russia. Although the people aren't very happy about this. So Russia's new ally is a revolutionary group that has been wanting Turkey back for years at this point. So the revolutionary group starts around here, and now the Ottoman Empire has a lot of problems on their hands. They then decide to, screw this. We're not gonna crush a revolution unless we pull out of the Russian war. So that's exactly what they do. So if I can, let's draw the new border. So over here we have oh dang it. Don't you just try to love picking colors? Anyways, Russia gets all of this territory that they fought for, considering that they pushed the Ottomans back out of Russian territory once again. So yeah, they kind of take over all of this, and I should be using white. Why am I not doing that? All right, there we go. That's better. So yeah, um, the Russians are able to were able to push back, so they get all this territory from the Ottomans, and that does quite a lot of damage. The Ottomans decide it's easier to probably Russia decides that it was easier to just reunite Yugoslavia with some new borders, except for Greece. They're not letting Greece in there because they don't want to be in it. So yeah, so over here, the whole countries are all kind of liberated, and they're all united into a new Yugoslavia. So obviously, this Yugoslavia is extremely messy, but per usual, I don't really care. So they also get this island, which is reunited into which is united into its own country. Um, this whole war led to a lot of countries being lost, but some new countries also being created. But it really wasn't worth it considering the casualties. I'll fix that in the next part. I don't care right now. Um. So yeah, the Ottoman have been quite embarrassed by this, but they don't have time to feel pity because they need to crush this Turkish rebellion. Seeing this rebellion, lots of the other countries that were captured also start to rebel against the Ottoman Empire. Um, there's an Arabian revolt over here. Um, so yeah, here's a revolt over here. There's another revolt over in the rest of Saudi Arabia. Yemen and Oman, they're just kind of chilling. There's a revolt in Egypt. There's a revolt in Sudan. Um, there's a revolt in Libya, and there's a massive revolt over here, which takes up most of the revolting. I just said revolting way too many times. My God. So the Almonds decide first to crush this one because it's the closest, and and they kind of put it under siege. They then go over here, and they're able to calm down this revolt, and they also push into this one. They then go down into Sudan, which takes quite a while, and they fail to crush revolt, and they're able to push all the way up to here, and it's not going too well. Um, so over, so all the way in Libya, that they also are able to continue the revolt and push off the Ottomans, and they meet up with this revolt. So yeah, the Ottomans are kind of screwed. They don't have much materials left to fight, and they have one last